Every time I hit a bottleneck, I build a new AI employee to crush it. I used to
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into a Tuesday day live stream. I'm very excited for today's live stream, as I always am. However, it looks like Bitcoin is not as stoked for the live stream today. It is in the middle of falling off a cliff from $125,000 per coin, which is insane. Let me say this crystal clear, right? We are experiencing a large pullback to $121,800. That's insane. That's insane that is now pullback level and getting people a little bit panicked about what's going on. We'll talk about what I think is going on and what the market's kind of suggesting is going on. A little bit of fear. I don't think it's anything to be too concerned about, especially not when we have news like the topic of the live stream today. The S&P is launching a new crypto index with 50 different assets within the index. That's insane, super exciting. Standard & Poor, the creators of the S&P 500, are launching a crypto index. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the market. We'll talk about a new options play I'm doing. We'll talk about a lot of different stuff, some DeSci updates, everything you guys are looking for and more. Good morning, C90. Good morning, Vibra. Good morning, MK. What's going on, Talkerid? Tony Fett. Good morning from Dubai. Let's go. WWW. What's good, David? How's it going, King Alexander? I'm going to take a sip of water already, even though I don't have enough yet, because I'm a little bit thirsty. So, get that palate wet so that we can continue talking for the next hour. Ladies and gentlemen, how many of you guys have seen this news already? How many of you guys have seen the news on the S&P launching the new crypto index, the Digital Markets 50? We'll give you a diversified exposure to crypto assets and companies that have business models revolving around crypto assets. Okay, so like Bitcoin mining companies is the first example, MicroStrategy being a clear example, right? And then of course, most likely Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, probably XRP, a lot of those crypto assets. C90 will pull up the post you did actually first thing in the morning here. Do you have any more information on this? Because I'm not a big AVAX person. I know virtually nothing about Avalanche. And so if you can give any kind of information on what you meant by this, what are D shares? Should we listen to the clip? We will listen to the clip in just a few moments here, but absolutely bullish to see some more adoption in the real world asset sector and of course the crypto sector. I have not watched the clip yet, so it will be a live reaction. Yesterday people were screaming the 4-year cycle is over, the bull market is over. Yeah, people are panicked, which is kind of why I don't really enjoy the current state of the market right now, just because everyone is so emotional. And I think it's more so just X. Whether it's crypto or stocks or bonds or whatever it is, everyone's just so panicked and emotional and like jumpy. They're super jumpy. It's like the first inclination of a sus market or the first thing that happens that makes people a little bit scared and they're like, I'm out, goodbye. Yeah, but I think there's 3 reasons why the market's kind of selling off here in the last 3 hours or so. And to be clear, guys, I don't think there's anything to be worried about for this sell-off. We broke out to 126,000, almost 127,000, depending on the exchange, of course. And now we're getting a pullback. I think so long as we maintain above $120,000, this is really just a quick little drawdown and it should be over by the end of the week. That's my expectation on this. As long as we stay above $120,000, this should just be a quick little pullback. We build out, consolidate, and then continue higher. If this is something that's more sustained and a little bit larger, it might take us down through the end of the month, but I don't think that's going to be realistic. I think the second half of October is going to be incredibly bullish going into that next rate cut decision. So we'll see. Obviously, I said that last time, and we ended up actually having a sell-off. There's 2 people walking dogs right in front of the house. Do you think they know anything about quantum computing or AI or Bitcoin or decentralized science? Do you think they know anything about this? Should I go out there and talk to them? I'm just kidding. Yeah, we'll see obviously what happens from there, but if you go look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, I think this was showing signs yesterday after the live stream. I went on to just check it out, and I should have talked about it during the live stream, but there was a good amount of liquidity on Bitcoin that was pretty low. What's going on? There we go. Thank you. Yeah, if you like, the market is heavily long right now. So a lot of money is to be made by these exchanges for sending Bitcoin's price down. Now, the thickest of the bands, like the furthest down, thickest of the band is all the way down at $113,000 for Bitcoin. I don't think we'll see that, and I don't want to see that price, but there was very little money to be made on Bitcoin if it went and kept pushing higher for these exchanges. The demand for Bitcoin on the exchanges was not that much higher, maybe 126.5, but we didn't end up seeing it. We got a quick sharp pull down here today, and I think the lowest I would expect us to see is probably some wicks down to 118.5, maybe a little bit lower than that, but I think we'll just hit this little area and we'll clean out most of the liquidity. Same thing with Ethereum, and I know you guys know how to read these heat maps, so I'm not really showing it to you guys with that big of an explanation, but on Binance at least, there's a large liquidation event that would happen if we went to 42.41 on Ethereum. And since Ethereum can be pretty volatile, I wouldn't be that surprised if we hit it. There are a lot of confluence here. There is a lot of confluence here around that $4,200 area in the moving averages. So we'd still be on top of a lot of the moving averages, right? If we went down to 4,200 and kind of wicked down to liquidate whoever that guy is down here. Aside from that, it's kind of just no man's land on Ethereum for Bitcoin. Go shill die next to the dog owners. Let's go, baby. They'll definitely buy. They'll definitely buy. I mean, like, who wouldn't buy? As far as the news that really sent us down here, there were 2 things that I saw, right? First one was a apparent threat, or warning, I should say, rather, excuse me, a warning from Israel saying that Iran's probably going to nuke the United States soon. At least that's how the market seems to have interpreted it for a minute. Iran is developing intercontinental ballistic missiles with an 8,000 km range. Yeah. So they're trying to stir up some drama about Iran. Iran, excuse me, trying to probably get the United States more involved in the Middle East. Oh, well, this is crazy. I didn't even mean to highlight this one, but yeah, I agree with the Hodge twins here. And then the other thing to showcase to you guys that I think is having a very immediate effect, if we go look at ORCL, the market is having a bit of an instability moment here from some news, I think, that came out of Oracle here. It's not confirmed, right? I don't have, like, this is just my speculation. This is why I think the market's selling off a bit here. And then we'll get back to what you said, C90. And we'll read into the S&P crypto index, of course. Where's my live stream health? There we go. Put this one up here. Bullish. We have 15 concurrent viewers, yet I only see 4 likes on the live stream. So I would really appreciate a thumbs up on the live stream. Ladies and gentlemen, we go live Monday through Friday most of the time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard. Sometimes I take days off. Sometimes I take months off. We'll see how it goes. We're here to make some money. Today, the shorts are winning. And I think part of it is this news here from Oracle. So Oracle lost nearly $100 million from rentals of Blackwell chips in the most recent quarter. That is the chips that they got from NVIDIA. If you guys remember, Oracle went up like a madman here a couple days ago. Or this is just today, right? No, this is back then. Oracle went up an insane amount for a 100 billion plus company in the span of one overnight deal with NVIDIA, right? And with OpenAI and everything. I actually forget what the deal was in this moment, but it'll probably come back to me as soon as I end the live stream. Regardless here, the stock went up a crazy amount, and it turns out that they are having problems with their gross profit margin. So Oracle's gross profit margin from rentals of servers averaged 16% in the past year. Internal Oracle data shows the financial challenge of renting out NVIDIA chips. This omits takeaway here. This doesn't seem like a demand issue, aka Oracle not finding customers for renting their GPU, but rather seems like a margin issue. Seems like customers are asking for a really good deal, or they would just leave to some of the hyperscalers in the cloud service industry. Cloud is a crazy competitive landscape, and so it does make sense now that everyone's trying to get into it. You go look at all the small Bitcoin miners seem to have just flipped over to go produce cloud services for AI, right? It's the same hardware, it just depends what you plug that hardware into. So the competition has gotten crazy. It makes sense for margins to get eroded a little bit as the price that they can charge people comes down. And considering this is effectively the backbone of the AI industry right now, this spend on compute for training, which is now shifting over to the spend on compute for inferencing, which is the actual use of these AI models, which we can get into in a minute or two if you want to, but most of the actual revenue that's being generated from AI right now is just in companies' CapEx. It's just companies spending money to get chips to build and train models. And so if you see someone like Oracle saying, hey, like, yeah, they, like NVIDIA and OpenAI invested a bunch of money into Oracle in order to get really strong clouds going for compute, but we're actually having to take a hit in the margin because we can't sell the compute at what we thought we were going to be able to sell it at. The market's going to freak out because that impacts growth metrics for everyone. And if Oracle, one of the top dogs, is having that problem, everyone's going to have that problem. It's going to be a world, like a, you know what I mean? So the whole market, which is kind of being propped up on AI CapEx spend, is going through a period of uncertainty. And the market was very overextended, so it made sense to just have a little bit of a pullback to come grab some of these liquidity zones. And of course, the news or the ongoing threat of the war in the Middle East did not have a good time either. Okay. That covers that. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Everyone who's just joining, welcome, welcome. Steve the Canadian, hell yeah, welcome. Yeah. Patrick rugged us. Couldn't see you live, and now you're back. Okay, good. I'm glad we're back. I'm glad we're back now, all right? We're glad. But Let's read about the S&P launching a new crypto index, the Digital Markets 50. Will give diverse exposure to the crypto industry. This is what the live stream is supposed to be about. I just wanted to explain that current news. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. The AI, whether or not you want to believe it, if the AI spend slows down, if this AI bubble starts to show signs of not even weakness, but less growth, slower growth, everything's going to get hit because the real underlying economy is not doing great. It's just AI that's doing good right now, and it's kind of pulling everything up. So we'll see. What's good, Jeffrey? Welcome. All right, let's read some of these comments. From C90, as it pertains to the digital index fund here, the Digital Markets 50, I need to get the name right. Denari launched the Denari Financial Network, a layer 1 or purpose-built chain built on/using AVAX tech via Ava Cloud to support tokenized securities, equities, and ETFs. S&P Digital Market 50, combining 15 cryptos and 35 crypto-related stocks. Denari will issue a tokenized version of this index on its D-Shares platform. That's insanely bullish. Hell yeah. That tells me, right, if they're already working on it with the announcements and everything, that tells me they're in the conversations, they're in the rooms with all of this happening, which makes sense. AVAX is one of the top dog players in the industry for L1s. So I know it's like a little more technical than an L1, but you guys get what I'm saying. Hell yeah. And then C90 says, my personal takeaway was, what the fuck, Josh? Where's Ondo, man, on this? It looks like AVAX can take a chunk of that liquidity that we thought JP Morgan/Ondo was certain to have locked up. Well, that's crazy bullish for AVAX then. Let's go check out AVAX. I don't even have AVAX on the list. AVAX market cap. I'm not going to look at market cap right now. I'm going to go look at AVAX Tether. Does not seem like the market gives a damn right now about the news, but this is a pretty strong setup for AVAX if you look at it. We're above the moving averages if you're to take some sort of a trade here. We haven't necessarily broken out from this structure, right? But we're trying to. And so this kind of news is stuff that I think could end up driving AVAX up, especially if you think we're going to continue on with the bull market for the next foreseeable future. Like, I could absolutely see this doubling AVAX pretty quickly. Get this up closer to $60 and retesting these two range highs here, you know? I would not be surprised at all if once this dip that we're going through right now is over, we get a quick little double up in AVAX. I mean, even with this pullback, while it was a very clear sign that it was likely about to happen, we're still very much in this strong upward trajectory. So, hell yeah. I will say, so that everyone knows it point blank, that as of right now, no single asset will make up more than 5% of the digital markets 50, S&P said. New equity constituents must have a market cap of $100 million, and potential new cryptocurrencies must have a market cap of $300 million. A full constituent list was not yet available, but the S&P confirmed the index would be subject to the same quarterly rebalancing and governance processes as its other indices. Yeah, you guys know what happens with the S&P 500 every quarter, right? They add in new people, they remove people, or companies, excuse me. They rebalance the portfolio based off of whatever metrics they have. Looks like they'll be doing it the same way. It'll be super bullish. It's a coincidence. It isn't a coincidence that Digital Market 50 is launching during a banner year for crypto stocks. Coinbase up 55% in 2025. The Bitcoin Treasury Company strategy, MicroStrategy, has climbed 24%. Circle Internet Group, the year's strongest initial public offering. Yeah, Bitcoin itself has hit record highs on Sunday, which gets me into my trade that I took at the end of last week. Talkerid, this one's for you here. This is for you. I was watching as Bitcoin was and still is honestly, it still is breaking out to new all-time highs. having a little bit of a pullback, but it's nothing new. I was watching as Bitcoin was absolutely crushing it in the market. We saw Ethereum coming up to try and test those new highs. And I noticed that Circle Group has broken out of its downward structure and changed direction here on the daily. You guys see that, right? So Circle Group launched, had a crazy good IPO for everyone, and then was selling off, just like every single thing does when it launches, right? Every pre-sale we've gotten into this entire bull market has had the same exact pattern. You get that pop, drop, and lock it, right? It's a little less volatile in the stock market, but the pattern doesn't change. It's the same fundamental thesis. You get the pop, drop, and lock. Where it locks is up for debate, but in Circle, I would say with pretty high conviction that that was the bottom. And now we've reversed and found support above the 20-day moving average, and we're trying to get support above the 50-day moving average on Circle, right? So what I ended up doing, and I did it back here because I took a little bit of a risk and I wanted to get into the position before it really started taking off, just because, again, Bitcoin and all the crypto assets looked like they were about to break to new all-time highs. So I suspect that Circle will probably break to new all-time highs in this quarter as well, which is a very strong push. I grabbed some calls. And I dated this call that I grabbed. I got it for very cheap, but expiring in December of 2025. It's a little bit closer than I would normally like for calls because I like having that time on the contract. But yeah, so when I get more, I'll probably get some February calls or some March calls. Also, just in case we're wrong and it extends into Q1, I don't want time to be the confounding variable as to why I didn't make money on the trade. But the trade setup looks really good on the daily. If you go into the 4-hour, it looks honestly even better. It broke out. We're getting clear stair-stepping action here. Boom, boom. I think we get a strong push up, probably up to like $180 here in the next week or two, so long as the market does not totally nuke. But that is all things. Just a disclaimer, that video is a week and a half old I posted. They were teasing this back before it got announced. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Good find, C90. Good find. I'm assuming we can reasonably assume AVAX is going to be in this digital market 50. I think it's safe to assume Circle will be in this new index fund from the S&P 500 makers, not from the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is a fund, and then the S&P Standard & Poor is launching this crypto index. And I'm assuming with pretty high certainty that we'll get Circle, we'll get Coinbase, we'll get MicroStrategy, we'll get some mining companies. We might even get some wild cards like PayPal and stuff like that, right? Because they have stable coins and they have crypto and digital assets integrated. I would not be that surprised if we got stuff like that involved, which maybe sends PayPal, probably not. PayPal's grossly undervalued right now from just looking at it as a long-term investment. It looks very undervalued, but at the same time, I think their whole business model is kind of in the middle of getting disrupted, and the management company, instead of like investing in growth and investing in things to catch the next wave, seems to be very fixated on purchasing PayPal stock with all their extra money. And I don't think that's a good idea when you go into recessionary periods or difficult periods. You need to have cash. It's what happened to Restoration Hardware, RH. They are genuinely on a tough rink right now to look like bankruptcy because management, instead of investing into, wait, is this? I think it's RH, right? I'm pretty sure it's RH. Instead of investing in growth and continuing, they just decided to buy a bunch of shares, and the housing market's not turning around anytime soon, and their stock just continues to go down and down and down and down. And now they're in a position where things don't look good for them unless we get a quick turnaround. But it's down 73%. That's crazy. That is crazy. All right. Need more info on the AI attempted murder. Excuse me? What is that? Can somebody find an article from David, please? Thank you. Yeah, I think this is again another thing about what I mean in this market. Hold on, I got a notification. This is another weird thing about this market. Last cycle, this news would have sent everyone would have gone on this speculative frenzy to find the next asset that's going to be included in the S&P 50, digital market 50, right? People would have gone absolutely bonkers investing in all these different crypto assets and speculating. And this market, nobody cares. This is not what's driving this market. AI spend is driving this market, and that's it. It's insane to me. It is so insane. We also, which reminds me, right? Because I don't think it's that. Who posted it? There was a stock that just purchased research coin, apparently. Silo. Silo Pharma just purchased some research coin, trying to save their company. Low-key, if it works, crazy opportunity here. Because you go look at Silo Pharma, Silo market cap. It's literally a $9 million market cap, right? A $9 million market cap, and they're going to be trying to buy Research Hub here, Research Coin. How insane is that? Yeah, only 6 million shares in the OS. They made an initial purchase of ETH and Sol last month. Keep an eye on them. Silo Pharma. Silo Pharma, a diversified developmental stage biopharmaceutical and crypto treasury company, today announced its initial purchase of Research Coin as part of its expanding digital assets treasury strategy designed to capture long-term value from emerging multi-chain opportunities. Research Coin is the native token of Research Hub, a decentralized platform designed to advance scientific collaboration and discovery. Research Hub was co-founded in 2019 by Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong. By securing a position in Research Coin, we are participating in the growing decentralized science movement while pursuing asset diversification and potential appreciation for shareholders, said Eric, CEO of Silo Pharma. Our investment in Research Coin demonstrates our interest in modernizing scientific research and collaboration and, oh my God, supporting blockchain-driven innovation as a pillar for biomedical discovery, like DeFi, DeSci's Web3 movement that emphasizes decentralization blockchain technology. Bullish. Bullish. Guys, crazy. Think about it. Really think about what just happened here, right? Literally not on my radar in the slightest. I think it's worth doing a little bit of a dive into Silo to see if there's some crazy speculation that we could do on this thing. I already looked. Robinhood at least doesn't have options on Silo, and the company, based off the chart, the market believes the company is doomed for bankruptcy, which a lot of biopharma companies in the stock market have charts that look pretty similar to this, and then all of a sudden one catalyst sends them up like 1,000% in a single day. Not exaggerating. But how low will it bleed before that happens, you know? Because if it bleeds down to 5 cents and then goes up 1,000%, you just come back to where you were now. Okay. Whoa. How did I miss MK's comment here? AI tried to kill a worker that was scheduled. I know. I agree, C90. I agree. Let's go put this up. Imagine somebody buying Silo up here at $100. For Dynex, why are you at 5 cents, bruh? What is this news with the AI? What the hell? The AI video that details attempted killing.
An AI model.
13-minute video. So, oh yeah, this is different. A 13-minute, what are you doing? Come here. Just put it right there. A few months ago, Anthropic released a paper that should have been the biggest news story in the entire world, but the media mostly shrugged and moved on. So I filmed a deeper dive, how an AI literally attempted murder to avoid shutdown. Yes, really. What the heck? An AI model blackmailed an employee. I do think I heard that before.
Blackmailed an employee just to avoid being shut down. Importantly,
You guys could hear how loud that is, couldn't you?
no one told it to do this. The researchers didn't even hint at it. But as disturbing as that is, what happened next was far worse. An AI model literally tried to murder a company employee to avoid being shut down. This is exactly the kind of scenario top AI scientists, and yes, sci-fi films, have been warning us about for years.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
But what does this actually mean? Are we watching the first signs of AI overtaking humans? Or was it just an isolated glitch? Here's what...
Bruh. If we want to watch this video, I'm down. It's 14 minutes, not 13, so it's going to be a little bit longer than expected, but I'll run a poll if you guys want to watch the video with me. And it's telling me to engage with you guys. Start a poll. Do we watch the AI murderer video? Landon, I'll keep you posted on that. As of right now, yes, but I'm not in charge of that side of any of it, so I'll keep you guys posted. Stay close to, turn on notifications, stay close to things, because I think it's going to move quickly when it does launch. But yeah. So far, right now, according to what I've been seeing in the decision-making board meetings, yes, nothing has changed. I don't think there's tons of value in watching it in full, to be honest. The guy takes what could have been an email and made it into a 14-minute video. We can watch it for ourselves. All right, bet. We got 83 saying no. Yeah, I kind of felt that as well. It would have taken up a lot of space, but that's insane. And I think it's worth noting, guys, that what he was saying in the very beginning, the godfather of AI has been warning about this kind of thing happening for years. It's not an exaggeration. Another video you guys should watch is, I think it's like AI 27 or 2027 or something. Yeah, AI 2027. They made it into a movie, I believe. Why is Discover? Oh. They made it into like a Netflix documentary or a YouTube video, that is. A YouTube video right here. AI 2027, a realistic scenario of AI takeover. It's worth watching, honestly, because they warn. It was someone who wrote an entire paper warning about what was going to happen with AI, and he wrote it like 2 years ago, and so far he's been spot on, and it's a month-by-month breakdown of what things end up happening. And so far, everything is really spot on with it, which is kind of terrifying because in both scenarios, it looks like it's kind of game over, like end of the world. And so I don't think that's going to happen, but I think it is worth noting the fear of a lot of these people that have stepped away from the AI industry in the last 3 to 5 years. A lot of them are like, we need to start talking about what it's going to be like living with another sentient being on this planet, because that's what AI is turning into. I know there's going to have a bunch of guardrails and stuff, but They function the same way that we function. We're modeling them off of how we do things. Fundamentally, it is just a different phase of matter. Like it is, yeah, it's just a different phase of matter. It's just a different, different molecules, different, what the hell is the word that I'm looking for? We're made out of carbon and these are made out of silicone, right? This is silica thinking and we are carbon thinking. It's the same shit, just different mediums. And so what is it going to be like living with these entities? And then as we get further and further down the robotics and we train all these robots with these AI brains, these machine learning brains, a super, super big TAM, massive opportunity financially, going to absolutely boom the entire market. And that's another thing in all these predictions. The stock market goes absolutely bonkers in these predictions, right? Because they're so profitable and they scale so quickly and it erodes or it expands profit margins like insanity. But what does it look like for humans? Probably universal basic income and shit like that, you know? We'll see. We will see. The people who own the technology are going to continue to get more and more wealthy, as the people who don't own it will continue to get less and less wealthy until there's some sort of a revolution rebalancing that will take place. And I don't think it'll be the end of days, but I do think that there will be a massive rebalancing that happens. I think the end of days probably happen in the next 100 years or so, though, just based off of the solar activities. Maybe in the next 200 years, but I think we do get a pretty major Earth catastrophe very shortly. But that's another, you guys are going to get me down a very different tangent than what I expected to go down on that topic. But the North and South Pole are shifting and it's going to F everything up anyways. So it's literally, it's the meme. There's a whole meme about it. AI takeover, sun explodes meme. I know that's a terrible, yeah, here we go. The Circle of Life on Reddit. Circle of AI life. Humanity researches AI. Humanity perfects AI. AI perfects itself. AI enslaves humanity. Solar flares disable AI. Humanity worships sun god. This is probably exactly what's going to happen. And it's a meme, but it's probably spot on. Did not expect that tangent. Yeah, I know. Clipped and sent to the feds. No. Please. No, the feds agree. That's the thing. All my friends agree. All the feds agree. All right? They're going up. Well, I'm not saying that I'm a fed, okay? I'm saying that all the feds agree. You have to own equities. Mods, get Patrick optimistic again. I know, I worked so hard to get optimistic over the last month or two, and then one tangent, you guys destroyed it. One tangent. Come on, how can you look at this and not see it? It's so clear. Plot twist, Bill will be the AI bot to do it. You're damn right. We're going to put a brain into his robotic body and have him march around the streets commanding an army. All for the sake of climate change. Okay, all right, back on topic, guys. Back on topic. What did I have pulled up here? Basically, let's skip over that. I'm not trying to lose my stuff. None of you statistically own Bitcoin, according to Ansem. So, percent of your portfolio in Bitcoin. I know C90 has most of his portfolio in Bitcoin, so that skews it immediately for our audience here. But C90 is probably this guy right here with 50%. I'm in the 0% camp, which is probably not great. I didn't vote on this. Oh, did I vote? I did vote on this. Yeah, I'm in the 0% camp. 50.8% of 22,700 votes said 0. 25% of the portfolio for 17.8%, which is pretty insane to see. A lot of people still don't own Bitcoin, but I think that's a current state of the market. And I took a screenshot actually of something that I want to share with you guys here. It was my X feed yesterday. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it right here, but it says, it's one comment. Yeah, I doubt you guys can see it, but you can see my cool little desktop camera. It says, so if I put $125,000 into Bitcoin and it goes to 600,000, I will make 475K. Yeah, everyone is getting rich off of that. And then right underneath it, it says, this is scary, LOL. 9,000 plus votes with 53% of people holding 0 Bitcoin. But now it's at the point where it had 22,000 votes with 50% holding 0 Bitcoin. So yeah, a lot of people are not looking for minimal gains. A lot of people want that crazy exponential gain or nothing. And that's just the state of the market. So 71.56%. If I didn't own a house, I'd be over 95% in the Bitcoin. That is crazy work, C90. Crazy work. 95% in Bitcoin. And then you still have money in stuff like AVAX. Hold on, I have to see if I need to respond to this. No, I do not. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, 0 Bitcoin for me. What do you guys have? Put in the chat what % of your portfolios are Bitcoin, please. I'm curious. Okay, next up, we can talk about that, but I don't want to yet. I want to... That was all of them. Okay, so then we have this from OpenAI. Crazy cool advancement. As long as this kind of stuff continues to happen, I think we still have runway to go with the AI infrastructure and AI spend and the asset prices, but you can now chat with apps in ChatGPT. So you type in booking.com, find type in Figma, diagram this, Coursera, teach me this. So you can literally chat with apps. So they did direct connections into OpenAI's ChatGPT. There are so many startups that are about to go under because of this, but it's just the consolidation. This was the obvious move. Everyone starting one of those startups knew that it was a short-lived opportunity to get in before either they get purchased by a big company or they just get out-innovated by a large company. But everyone already has OpenAI, ChatGPT rather. Everyone's using it like in mad numbers. I think they've released numbers the other day. I'll show you in a minute. But plan a trip with booking.com. Create with Canva. Learn with Coursera. Organize your getaway with Expedia. Generate diagrams with Figma. Build playlists with Spotify. Search for homes in Zillow. And so much more. Add ventral support immediately. Really, really cool. Really cool. We'll see if it ends up sticking. We'll see if people actually do that. I think a lot of people will. The Figma one I think is going to be huge. Huge. And probably Coursera, honestly, is going to be one of the bigger ones. But you look at how strategically they're doing it. They're going through and looking at how users are using ChatGPT. Booking.com. I mean, I've searched for vacations. The one to Costa Rica, we got the information through ChatGPT on where to stay. So if I could just book it straight through ChatGPT, why not? You'll look at Canva. People create images and stuff all the time with ChatGPT. So getting that into Canva makes a lot of sense. Coursera, people planning content all the time. People plan courses all the time. Educational series, X posts, whatever it is. People are using ChatGPT for information, especially if you're teaching or you're creating education. Organize your getaway again with Expedia, and then Figma. Developers, anyone working with ChatGPT on a website or on a new app is going to use Figma, and just being able to put it through ChatGPT, you can just have ChatGPT create a prompt that you then just tag Figma and have it start working on it. Crazy. And Spotify, of course. And Zillow, of course. These two are more wild cards for me, but it's still cool. Is there something exciting launching soon, says AA. You're damn right there is. Something, pay close attention. I've been working on something with several other people. I can't give so many details just because that part is out of my hands, out of control, but it's coming very, very, very soon. So keep an eye on everything that's being posted. I'll notify you guys the moment that I can notify you guys, and not a moment before that. So keep an eye on it. I think it's going to be a huge, just watch, guys, just watch. It's going to be very interesting, and it has to do with robotics. And I think it's going to be crazy. Ligma is way better than Figma. Mods, get this paperclip looking out of here. Mods. Is the title true? I can only get so wrecked. The title is indeed true. Let's pull up the article again. S&P launches new crypto index. The digital markets 50 will give diversified exposure. Right now, we do not know what's going to be in the index fund here. We have no idea what will be in the fund, but it will have 50 assets that are related to digital currencies or are digital currencies. So think Coinbase, think Circle, think MicroStrategy, think BMNR, think those are all stocks, right? You could honestly, I could see coming out and saying PayPal with their stablecoin, right? You think through this as deeply as you want to go. And then think about stuff like AVAX and Bitcoin, of course, and Solana and Ethereum and probably XRP and a lot of other stuff. Now, in order for I'm going to read this paragraph again because we're seeing a little bit of a surge in concurrent viewers. The only thing I ask is you hit that thumbs up button, but no single asset will make up more than 5% of the digital markets 50, S&P said. Standard & Poor, they're the creators of the S&P 500. New equity constituents must have a market cap of $100 million, and potential new cryptocurrencies must have a market cap of $300 million. So look through whatever you're trying to speculate on. The market doesn't really seem to care about this news today, but look through if you want to get in on some of these assets before they get added into the index fund. I think in the next month or two, we're going to see a lot of ETFs and a lot of funds get approved and get trading started on the market. So I think we'd be seeing them a little bit right now if it weren't for the government shutdown. I think the government shutdown actually made it so that we missed some of these deadlines, but we'll see how it all ends up playing out. The longer it takes, the more we have time to run up, you know? What's up with the Dynex tokenized stock situation? I still haven't read into it. You can see I'm not really in a rush. I think if the price was going up, I'd be in a little bit of a rush, but given that the price is just sitting here, I'm really just like, yep, I'll look into it when it starts going up again. But they came out and said something pretty outlandish, that was that anyone who's ever purchased Dynex will be up when they do this. And supposedly they're going to be converting tokens into equity and launching on a market. I don't know. I need to look into it. So if you guys have resources, I'd love to see it, because if that's true, that's 2,600% gains from here. But also if that was true, I'd expect insiders and everyone to be buying this up like crazy, and we'd probably be closer to like 50 cents already, because it's such a small market cap, right? But nonetheless, and given the fact that quantum computing as a whole in the stock market's been going absolutely nuts for the last 2 years, yet Dynex has gone the exact opposite direction, you'd think that we'd be getting a crazy spike right now. But oh well. Bro, I bought at 29 cents. No way I'm going to be in the money. Bruh, if you aren't in the money at 29 cents, then a lot of people are going to be pissed off. I mean, my circle's way up here. I got my circle a long way to go. If this had actually created a God candle, we might have gone up to my circle here. The good old days back here when I thought we could turn around and go up like crazy from here. And it would have happened if Dynex had gone with the actual underlying stock market. We'd actually be probably somewhere around here if we were on par with some of the others. We'd be at a $40 Dynex right now if what happened in the stock market happened to Dynex. Oh well, all right. We got way off topic. What's good, Zach? When Bill $1. I think Bill $1 after, like, once DeSci is pumping and after people see what comes out here that we've been cooking up for the last X amount of time periods, fill in whatever time period you want. Dynex price continues to defy logic. It makes no sense at all. But NDAs are made to be leaky, sir. No, I cannot. I will get in trouble. I am not the only person doing it, but I would keep a close eye on things. And it's going to be very, very, very crazy. I don't know what to expect, but when I can give you guys information on what's going on, I will give you guys as much information as I can, as soon as I can give out that information. And it will make sense why and what's going on soon, very soon. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things, and again, as soon as I can tell you guys, I will share all that pieces of details. But it's kind of crazy what's likely going to be happening here in the next like 3 or 4 weeks, but specifically this week. But in the next 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to be going places and seeing some things. Now, there was one more thing I wanted to touch on here, and it was for Talkerid. So we'll see if Talkerid's still here, but that's what I thought. The news is out. Where's the insiders buying? Exactly. So I need to do more deep diving into what the news actually is with Dynex, and I should, based off the position that I have. I'm just not in a rush. It's either going to go up or it's going to go down, and right now I'm too busy working on the robotics project. The announcement of the announcement are getting to David Bailey's levels on this channel. Listen, that's how you do it though. You announce that you're going to announce something and everyone gets excited, because when you actually make the announcement, no one gives a crap anymore because they're on to the next announcement. They want to front run the announcement, so you have to announce that you're going to make an announcement. Otherwise, the announcement itself doesn't actually do anything. Okay. Lemonade. How many of you guys have heard of Lemonade? Can I get some ones in the chat if you guys have heard of Lemonade? Lemonade is an AI company, believe it or not, but not in the sense that you're thinking. Why am I so washed out? I literally bought a black background so that I wouldn't get whitewashed in the camera. If I turn that off, nah, it just looks even darker. No, my kid sells it when I was unemployed. Okay, Lemonade is an insurance company, but they only use AI at their company. Obviously they have employees, but they are an AI-based insurance company, meaning if I want to go and get pet insurance, for example, I put in some information about my pet, I put in some records about my pet, and the AI comes up with an insurance policy that I can accept or decline right there. And then when I need to go make a claim, I tell the AI what's going on, and it goes through without any hiccups so far. They have like 70,000 reviews on the App Store with like a 4.8% rating, whatever. Their revenue is going up like crazy. They are about to flip to profitability. There's a ton of good stuff coming out about Lemonade in both the short and the long term. And I think, honestly, the profit margins on Lemonade are going to be insane. I'm not here to sell you on the bull case for Lemonade. I think you guys should go look into it. They're across insurance. So car insurance expansion, US auto is a $300 billion market versus renters, $4 billion, and pet, $10 billion. Lemonade has a 300,000 plus car waitlist, and cross-selling to existing renters/pet customers lowers the cost to acquisition customer, cost to acquire customer. Even modest share gains here dwarf their core lines. Reduced insurance ceding. Lemonade historically ceded 55 to 70% of the premiums in reinsurances. I'm getting to the point here in a moment. Patience pays, guys. That is now dropping to 20 to 25, meaning they'll recognize far more of their premium as revenue while also retaining more gross profit. Okay, makes sense? So these are just short-term things that are going to show up really positively for Lemonade. And if we come over here and look at Lemonade on the chart, there's a very clear growth pattern that's going on here, right? I think it's crystal clear what's going on the weekly time frame, but more so if you zoom into the daily or the 4 hour, right? We had the pop, drop, and lock it from IPO, and now it's turning around, and it looks like Lemonade right now is attempting to build up enough momentum to break out, right? And given the company is growing like crazy, their revenue is increasing, they are AI driven, actually turning a profit off of the artificial intelligence that they've come and put into their company from the foundation. It's not like Procter & Gamble, not Procter & Gamble, my God, it's not like Progressive, it's not like the other legacy insurance companies that are trying to implement AI. This is an AI first company. And so the chart looks gorgeous. It looks like it's set for an expansion. And I think that it's going to happen in this quarter or next quarter, right? So I've acquired some longer duration calls, some expiring in January of the next year and some expiring in March of next year. I think we're going to see Lemonade shoot up to $80 plus. And yeah, that's the play there. So I bought $70 calls on Lemonade expiring in January, and I bought $75 calls on Lemonade expiring out here in March. In order for me to turn a large profit, I need Lemonade to go up 60%, but if you guys know how call options work, it doesn't actually need to play out like that. If we get Lemonade to make a big spike anytime between now and then, I will be selling out of them even if they're not in the money, because they'll double or triple in price really, really quickly. Make sense? Thanks for the live stream today. TI, I gotta run to a meeting. Hell yeah, C90, thank you for being here. I will see you again on tomorrow's live stream. Make sure you guys tune in later today and tomorrow. When life gives you AI, lemons. Exactly, Fanta. Exactly. They advertised heavy on YouTube like a year or two ago based on the instance decision and approve deny. Yep. That's the problem. They don't advertise. No one knows about them yet. Anyway, I agree. I've been seeing them ramp up advertisements a lot though. If we go look at LMND, they've been ramping up advertisements. Lemonade with a multi-year move. I agree. Look at this guy's TA says we're going to $85. This guy says price breaks over 62, it'll get squeezy. What's it at right now? 54. So 62. I agree. I think if we get that breakout, we shoot up really quickly. I'm just front running it because the market is very hot right now, and I think it continues for this quarter. I'll probably add to it in a little bit. We're getting, here it is, Lemonade Inc. So starting to engage in a little bit more of that marketing side of things. Not a good post at all, but that's okay. I would compel you guys to look into Lemonade here very quickly. Oscar is growing like crazy too. Another, like healthcare right now looks like it's expanding rapidly. All the healthcare companies look like great opportunities. Lemonade, I just really like the chart, and the options were cheap, which is a core thing on it. You look at Lemonade's stock price versus Lemonade's total revenue. Compound annual growth rate of their revenue of 51%, right? Stock price is still much, much lower than where it was back when they only had a total combined revenue of 20 million. And now they're up to 164 million. So the thesis is there. I think it makes sense. The premium on them is low enough, especially given today's move, because today Lemonade went down. Given today's move, I think it makes sense if you guys wanted to look into opening positions. And I told you guys I would keep you updated on the trades I make. The last one that we made that we closed out, which I didn't tell you guys about, but I'm sorry for that, was AMD. I bought it back here, some call options as we started curling over, right? On the 4 hour, I noticed we were curling over and building up. I think AMD, regardless as to what happens, is a really strong player in the future for the chips. And then that I just got hella lucky with that expansion. The IV went nuts, and I ended up turning $600 into 5,000, which was gorgeous because it was such a short period of time. And then, of course, you guys, I don't think you guys know yet, but I'm planning on putting together a large presentation on UiPath here, probably over the weekend. We'll see, because I got a lot of debbing to do for the robotic stuff, but UiPath, I think is going to print a lot of money over the next 3 to 5 years. Yes, I know you guys don't enjoy hearing 3 to 5 years, but that's what it's going to be. Let me give you a little bit of a sneak peek if we go out to the weekly time frame here. Okay. Stuff like this is a lot easier to run projections on than a crypto. You can't really run projections on crypto. You just have to go off vibes, literally. I think that we don't even need to be that far out. Okay, hold on. Based off of my projections that I have for revenue growth and the flip to profitability, I think that by the end of 2028, we're up above $200. Now, I understand most people don't want to wait that long for 1,000% gainer, but the confidence that you can have with something like this is much better than in crypto, right? Unless you're holding Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana, but even Ethereum, you might get shaken out. Even Solana, you might get shaken out, right? AVAX, all these different projects. I don't know that Avalanche, not to, C90's gone now, so I can pick on it, but I don't know that Avalanche is going to return 1,000%, right? I can conduct just concrete math to show you how Path is going to get to $200 per share. It might take 4 years, it might take 3 years, right? But that's okay because I can put 50 grand into it and hold on to it and walk away with $500,000 or even more and just be confident and sleep well at night. And along that way, you can do what I've been doing and just buy calls when the chart looks good. Like I think this week or next week, we get a breakout from this range here. And so I purchased February 2026 calls. I'm already up 400% on them, right? You can make trades along the way. I think I'm a little early to this breakout. I would like to see it on the weekly get above 20 bucks and hold sustainably. But I think on the daily, that move was imminent and it happened really quickly. And UiPath, I know I've gone off on a very long tangent, so I appreciate everyone who's sticking around with me on it, but they just announced integration with OpenAI. They just announced integration with, or not just announced, but they've had integration with Microsoft. They just announced something with Google. They just announced something with NVIDIA, right? All the top dog players. They're doing robotic process automation. It's an easy play. So we're going to make money. And I will be talking more about all those in the Discord. Also Circle, but we talked about that one already. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your time is your most valuable asset. Hopefully this was worth investing it into. I will see you guys in tomorrow's daily live stream, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This week's going to be good, guys. It's going to be exciting. It looks like the market did not nuke, by the way. It just went down 2%. So very stable. All right, guys.